Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Spittin' Seeds. This is episode number 7, and we're going to be talking about plant training and showing some gardens and smoking up and having a nice chill Sunday afternoon here. At least it's afternoon for me, but I want to welcome Art Man. He's here hanging out with me, and I'm going to get the link pinned and get ourselves set up here. How you doing, Art Man?
Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm
It's
trying to
going
find the
well.
you trying to find the YouTube link on my Zoom thing because I can't see chat yet.
I see
Oh
Rocks in the chat already. What's up,
nice.
buddy? And rolling smoke, rolling in. I love it. I'm going to pin this. Anybody that wants to join us is welcome to click that link and hop on and hang out, smoke up, show your plants, or talk, or whatever you want. I'm going to pop chat out, make sure I'm in the live chat, and minimize that, and I'm good to go. Let's see. Well, it is Sunday. Uh, yeah, I don't have a ton of stuff going on today. Um, I made some really bomb chicken fried rice last night. That was delicious. Um, I used a rotisserie chicken. It was really and super easy. Oh, I see Jace is joining us here. And shout out to APM in the chat. First like, thank you, buddy.
Hit that
What's
like
up,
button.
Jace?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
You get that water heater yet?
I did, like, literally just got it finished installed, got the hot
Oh,
water going, so
awesome.
all is good now. Cold showers aren't fun.
No, they are not.
Not on purpose or on accident, at least, whatever.
Yeah, you do that
Well,
forced Wim
Rocinante,
Hof.
Yeah, I know, right?
Rocinante, congratulations. He's going to get
Yeah,
his master's after all. Yeah, I've
just
been
Oh,
cheering
sweet.
for
my
Rock.
thesis
I've,
Friday.
I've been cheering
Doc
for him
Congratulations.
Rock.
for a couple years now, or a few years now, I think. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
we're going to
Sorry,
start
guys.
calling him Doc Rock now.
Doc Rock.
All right, Doc Rock.
I
We'll see
like
how
it.
he likes that.
Or
Uh,
we can call him Doc Denante.
Doc
Uh-oh.
Devontae.
Well, we gotta work that out. We'll
That's
we'll see what we
well,
can
we got to
figure
get
out.
something better there.
That sounded more Spanish.
Doc Fernante. We'll figure it out. But that's a great move. Education is the key to everything, as far as I'm concerned. So there
Yeah,
you go.
that's not easy. That's hard work.
Right, you
A
deserve
lot
it.
of,
Deserve all
lot
the
of work.
congrats you can get.
Education is key to everything. Yep. If you don't know, then how are you going to do? So, especially when it comes to growing. And I figured I'd just mention we'll get into it here in a little bit. I want to give people a chance to come in and, I know some people are still waking up and shit. So, but we're going to be talking about doing some plant training and different terminology for that and what each one means and things like that. So, and we got multiple different styles on the panel of people, the way they train their plants. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And then also, Artman has a clone he's going to show us, as well as some flowers, I think. So that'll
Yeah.
be fun to see that coming up here in a little bit. What are you smoking, Artman? Or vaping, I should say.
Let's see, what did I hit today? I think I hit the Bam Blam today. So I got Bam Blam on my dry herb base.
Bam
It's
Blam.
really good.
Bam Blam is from Fluff's Garden. I have
It
some of
is.
those seeds, but I have not tried it. I don't know what the cross is either.
It's let's see, Black Forest and Sideways Betty.
That sounds right. Yeah, I remember that now. And give a shout
Yep.
out to Rory Gardner in the chat, Penny Pebble Ripplers. Who else is in here? Abolished. What's up, Abolished? He's killing it with the memes, the spicy memes. Jace, are you smoking on anything over there?
No, not yet. I've been doing the water heater thing all morning.
Mm,
So we went to the hardware store and bought it, and I had someone come over and install it, a family friend. So it didn't cost anything, but yeah, I've just been running around all morning trying to get that done.
nice. I'm glad you got it done because that's important.
But I've been taking fistfuls of edibles at night.
That's good for you, I think. Boost your
That
endocannabinoid
bad?
system. And what's that, Art?
Good for,
Things feeling pretty bad if you're taking fistfuls of edibles. Sorry to hear that.
yeah, it's I usually kind of pace myself on those, but man, that's kind of been my saving grace through all this.
Yeah, I would agree that edibles are excellent for pain and sleep. Art man, you had an experience with some edibles, right? That
Oh yeah.
you didn't enjoy it. You want to tell us
No, I
about that
didn't.
or?
No, I just woke up in a panic. I didn't understand what was going on. It was really made me feel really uncomfortable though.
Mm.
So I didn't like it at all. I was pretty buzzed. But that's not the first time I've had bad experiences with edibles either. So
And some people are just more tuned to that, that it's not the right fit for their endocannabinoid system.
ain't
And
Man,
that's for certain.
I was reading that some people are like immune to edibles, basically.
right. So I
Really?
believe, and I don't know that all the technical words and molecules and stuff, but like a very high level overview is that once you eat once you eat THC that's been decarboxylated, so it's got the acid removed, then your body actually converts it in the liver to a different compound, and that goes to your brain and gets you high. So you're actually not getting high off of the THC. When you decarb, it's taking off the acid chain that allows your body to convert it from THC into, I can't remember what it's called, but I believe that's how it works. And some people, their body is less efficient at converting the THC to this other compound, and they are essentially, yeah, immune to it. Or some people, have a higher processing rate and they get more efficient conversion to the other compound. I got to look this up because it's going to bug me until I don't. But um, yeah, and they have a very strong reaction to it. So it's all about the way your body is processing it and then converting it in the liver. And I thought that was really interesting when I heard about that.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I've had
see,
people tell me before, like, "Oh, I've taken like 1,000 milligram brownie or before and it didn't touch me." I'm like, "You're full of crap." Like if I did that, I'd be floored for like 3 or 4 days. But maybe they were telling the truth.
this up. Okay, yeah. So it says after oral consumption, THC travels to the liver, where most of it is eliminated or metabolized. It's metabolized into other molecules by CYP2C and CYP3A in the liver. I guess these enzymes turn THC into 11-OH-THC, which is also psychoactive, and then into 11-COOH-THC, which is not psychoactive. So 11, it's called 11 hydroxy THC is the compound that actually gets you high when you do it when you eat an edible. But
No idea.
those two enzymes, the CYP enzymes, apparently not everybody has them at like the same levels or at all, or and that's the thing that you don't have the enzyme, you can't convert it, and so it just flushes through your body essentially.
I've never heard of that. That's crazy. I didn't know it turned it into a totally different substance.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah. It's messing with the molecule chain in the liver
Right.
as it's breaking it down. So
That's bizarre.
yeah, so maybe
Okay.
your body is not geared towards that particular method of consumption, and you know
Or maybe it converts it too much. It's
yeah, that's what I'm
really
saying. It's
good
like
at it. Yeah, okay, yeah,
it's
yeah.
100% efficiency
I
on the
think that's
THC, the 11 hydroxy THC versus
something
the
that's
11 whatever the other one was that's not psychoactive. You're getting 100% on the first one, and it's like too much, even off a small
yeah.
dose.
Well, and I want to say to the people here, that was a very small dose that I took too. It was very small. It was less than anybody else that has tried those cookies. So,
Those one of those cookies that I sent you, right?
yeah, there's only a
Was it?
quarter of a cookie, or maybe a
So
little less.
that would have been
So it
about
was,
20 milligrams.
and I've eaten 100 milligram candy bar and not had a reaction from a dispensary. Go
Hmm.
figure.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's
Really
bizarre.
interesting.
uh, unpredictable, I'd say, for me.
Yeah, I know when I first started doing edibles, I think I was only doing like a yeah, probably 5 milligram gummy, and that was doing me right for the longest. And then I remember going up to a 10, and I was on a 10 milligram for months. And now it's like probably 100 milligrams at a time or more.
Yeah. No, it's that tolerance builds up, you know.
Yeah.
My my general like introduction to edibles, it was during lockdown, COVID, and I had a bunch of weed and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try this. So I made some, I did it in the oven, and apparently I made it like really fucking strong on accident. Like I just was kind of just fucking around, and I yeah, so that was like my first introduction was with a high dose, probably about 75 to 100 milligrams, and I was fucking high. And yeah, then I was like hooked on it. I loved it. It was my favorite way to consume cannabis is in an edible. Now I'm probably eating up to 300 milligrams, 400 a day.
Yeah, it's a good, long lasting, heavy body kind of sedative high for me. And I like that. Like it has its place for me. But I still like to smoke. I just like I don't it feels more well rounded, like more balanced when I smoke, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
it's
more of a
a
head high.
yep. You know, the Artman says in the chat, I can smoke as much as I want. Edibles are different. And that's the thing with me is like at this point I could eat 100 milligrams when I get up in the morning for pain and not be feeling like too crazy, you know, stoned or anything, and just be functional. And then if I smoke a joint, I get the head rush and I'm like, oh man, I got to watch something funny and eat a snack, you know. But it's like flip flopped at this point because I use it for the edibles for medicinal purposes. So like exclusively that smoking is the stronger one for me at this point.
Yeah, I'm probably the same way as you are. I feel that way.
Hmm. Anxiety attack from cookies. Yeah. I actually, so speaking of racy strains, um, when I was chopping my plants down, I harvested the Freya's marmalade, and it was at probably day like 50 from flip, and you know, it was still white pistils everywhere. So I was like, I don't know, but it was too dense to like throw it away. It was, you know, I was like, I'll turn it into RSO or something. I've been smoking it and it's really good. And it's like, it probably could have gone another 2 or 3 weeks before it was like fully ripe, but you know, for an early harvesting strain, it's not super racy. And it, yeah, that's good. That's a good strain from George Genetics is the Freya's Marmalade. That it was a collaboration with Jolly Pond.
That's a cool name, Freya's Marmalade.
Yeah, so George Genetics has a couple of strains. I think the first one was Freya's Gift was the first strain, and then he crossed that into a couple different things. He's got like a Freya's Honey, which is like a honey buns cross, and Freya's Milk, which is like I don't know, some sort of other cross. I didn't get the other parent on that, but um yeah, some cool stuff over there, all Viking themed.
Well, you got 9 pound hammer. They got Thor's hammer over there since it's Viking, or that's different.
I think Thor's hammer is an auto flower strain from Ronan's, which don't quote me on that, but that sounds right, maybe. Yeah, there's been a couple different hammer strains.
Well, I'm about to try that 9 pound hammer one of these days.
Hmm. Yeah, $60 for a 12 pack of regs, and I that's you can get that at jinxproofstankbank.net, which he's a good dude. Support
Yeah,
that breeder.
pretty good deal.
We got a good number of people in here. I see Dead Kurt, Captain Blackheart, Donkey Populous, Galaxy Solutions, Operation Annihilation, Warriors Dub Nation. Excellent. I'm glad to see everybody hanging out. We could probably get into some gardens first, you think, or would y'all like to talk training first?
I'm trying to hook up my camera right now.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see what Art Man's got going on then.
Yeah, there it is. All right. That's cool. Oh,
Let me spotlight you.
okay. Hey, that's on me. I don't want to do that. Okay. This is the clone you were talking about. This is a stringy looking the flapjack. Sent me.
That's it. That's how it grows though. It
Is it
looks, yeah, it's
really
just like a
that?
tall,
Oh,
skinny plant. Yep.
oh, okay. Okay. Well, then now I know what to expect. Okay. And
Yeah.
for those
And
asking, uh, this is the plan. He sent me the clone in a root riot. What is it? Peat based, whatever they are, peat or something.
yeah,
And I can't use peat in my system because it's got pumps down below in the reservoir. So what I did was I took a lady's nylon. There's the nylon right there. I slipped it over the root riot and I put it in the rocks. And I'm growing it out. I'm going to let it go for maybe another week, and then I'm going to cut it off, clone it again, put it in a rock wool cube, which I can run in all my systems. So I can't run the peat because the little pieces eventually they'll break off and they'll clog my pumps, the impeller. So, but yeah, it's going to be fine. Looks good then. If that's how it grows.
yeah. So it's a
Cool.
tall, skinny plant, and the side branching will come up and stay really close together. So all the
Okay.
yeah, it's and it'll probably like 3 times itself when you flip it.
Okay. Good enough.
Yeah.
All right. And there's that.
I
That's
I would do
flapjacks.
lots of toppings on it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cut it off and make a clone out of it first. So, okay.
Right,
This is
right.
my Harlequin here. I'm going to send some of this off to Roth and Ante for long-term storage in culture. So that'll be
So
cool. Yeah, I think that was neat. And then I'm going to send some off to Bustin. He says he wants to try the pain. It's a really good pain control. It's amazing pain control. It's just fucking it's staggering to me. It'll stop a headache. The concentrates will stop a migraine 3/4 at a time. I'm not a holistic medicine guy either, so I'm telling you that stuff is weird. But anyway,
are
I'll
you
grow that
hooked
out
up
and
to
then
your
I'll
GoPro microphone or your headphone microphones?
is it
Because you're a little muffled.
dimming off? Being quiet again? Hang on.
Please stand
Could
by
be.
for technical difficulties.
It's
But
on
we
the
did have
headphones.
it's on your
It's
headphones?
well, it says it's on the headphones. I'll speak
Okay.
louder.
Yeah,
And
maybe that's it.
okay, I'll speak louder. Okay,
That's
this
better.
is the Harlequin. This is the one
Yes.
I'm gonna. Okay, this is my Flow OG that I keep going all the time. I just killed a big mom. I just called it. This is the Franco teas. Say what's it, the Franco lemon cheese. No, can't think of this, but it's got, wow, it's so damn thick. Look at how dense that thing is. I got to cut a couple phones off of that. It really needs to be cleaned up before I move it in, but I wanted it to get a lot bigger. It doesn't seem like it's getting very large. Anyway,
Very
let's see if I
squat.
can get the audio going here. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, this is the Harlequin. Turn that off for a minute. This is Harlequin. It is phone number 2. I had the mom. I had phone number 1. I've already harvested both of those. The first one was 6 weeks, but I harvested because it had a lot of numbers. The second one, the phone number 1, I harvested at 8 weeks. And this one I'm harvesting at 9 weeks next week. So got to see those. And that one is phone number 3. I'm going to harvest that one. Whichever one of these is the best medicine, the first 3. So and then I'll move the Franco lemon cheese. I got to grow that out taller because I want to fill. I'd like to fill my straw this time because these are kind of small plants here. I'm not used to that. I like them a lot bigger. My normal plants are probably 3 times that size. So anyway, that's what I got going.
Looking good, man. I like the
Mhm. For now.
staggered harvest on the Harlequin to try out different harvest times on it.
Yeah, that's why I did it too, just to test the medicine. Because I knew I'd have 4 plants. So it would work out pretty good.
Very cool. And yeah, I hope that that Franco's lemon cheese, that sounds tasty. Is that lemon, it's lemon haze times UK cheese or something? I don't remember exactly.
I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up now. If Ice and I was there, he's growing the same thing. You see
Mm,
him chat? Have you seen him in chat at all? Or
no, I haven't seen him yet. They
okay,
might be
well he's
sleeping
growing
in.
his. Yeah, his is about a foot tall, or no, a little bit bigger than that, I think, by now. So that should be. But
We
yeah.
just put him into flower probably, I think. He was talking about
Oh,
walking the light down, remember? And so it should be in flower at this point.
well, that's cool. Yeah, he does put his into fire. I want to grow mine out about maybe, I don't know, a foot and a half tall. I'd say maybe a little more. 'Cause I want to put it in there, and we can lead in to my double scrog. Shit, I should have showed you while I was doing it. Because I control all of mine with a double scrog. I guess I can just turn it back on. Would you like me to do that?
Um, you don't have to. Jace, do you have a scrog
So,
set up
Um, not
in what?
set up.
Oh,
I've got the
okay.
nets. I've got the nuts here to do it, but I don't. The only
Uh,
scrog I have set up's at the top of my tent, so I can hang my yo-yos off of it.
okay. Yeah, well, we can just show that and explain what it's for, and then
Okay.
say you can do two of those if you want.
Yeah.
and if it
Um,
goes through the top, you can also use yo-yos because I do that as well. I do have
yeah,
yo-yos. Absolutely.
we got some people in the chat. I see Miranda's in the chat and Collective Mary Jane, Collective Marijuana. Sorry, I always say that. I don't know, it's habit. Um, cheers, guys. Jace, you want to show your plants?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, and then we get into some training talk. Get a garden update first.
All right. So I am on week 4.5. Let me get over here. Yeah. So this is 4.5. So I just came in and I cleaned up the bottom. I like to pull all the lower leaves down there and then just kind of clean it up, thin out the middle a little bit, get rid of everything I don't need, anything that I think is causing more problems than it's helping.
Looks good, man. Nice
Had to
training.
bo- had to boost it up even more. I got on the milk crate now, and then the step stool. And golf girl, she's a beast. She's overtowering the ones next to it. I think I'm done trying to keep the canopy level. I don't want to mess with this too much because of my injury, but it's pretty good right now. Honestly, this plant's kind of thin over here. Like I don't feel like it's overcasting anything, so I don't feel like it's blocking any light enough to worry about. So I'm just going to leave it and let it rip. I'm hoping it's done. It should be done bolting. I mean, we're at week 4.5. But I say that, and every time I open the tent, I swear these things are closer to the light every time.
It's looking good though. That is a tall one. I'd say that's the green crack
You think so?
dominant. Probably because the
It's
nightmare cookies was short and squat, and the platinum float was kind of a medium sized like hybrid plant.
it's probably around 4 foot tall, maybe a little bit more.
Big bolt.
Because I was going to move these plants to the other tent because I'm running out of room over here. Well, I have ran out of room over here. So I took them off the risers there so I could gain a couple inches. And I'm like right there on the light still.
Damn.
Yeah. See that one back there? I tried to super crop that because it was all the way in the light. So I had no choice at that point. So I knew it was a very high risk maneuver. I I got some grafting tape and taped it up pretty good before I broke it, and then snapped it over and used a yo-yo to hang it up. But it's not completely dead yet, but the leaves are dead, dying. I don't think it's going to make it. I'll leave it there until I see it's dead all the way, and then I'll just chop it off if that happens. But kind of one of those catch-22 situations. So just is what it is. But like I said, I would have moved those to the other tent, but I still would have had one extra plant because that golf girl is just about as tall as these over here. So I still would have one plant that was too tall for that one tent, or this tent over here. Oh, there's my trellis up top I was telling you about.
Yeah. So when we talk about a net, that's what we're talking about. for anybody
Yeah,
that's
same
gonna
thing
listen
here. I
later.
just cleaned up. This is my goal to have training wise, at least to get the width like here, just to train it out, get the width that I need, and then just run it straight up. So I get the big long pipes coming up. But my problem was these notes didn't stack too well. I got a lot of internal spacing here because if these notes were tight, man, I'd probably get 2 pounds out of this tent. But the way they're spaced out, I'll still have a good yield out of it.
Yeah. Well, it
You know,
still
we got
looks good, man.
the clones.
You'll get something more than
They're up.
you think.
They're up in the light too. I got to do something with those here pretty soon. But I don't have to worry about these burning. I got that light all the way down pretty much. I'm not trying to grow these fast. I'm just trying to keep them alive, basically.
Yep.
But you can see those three in the back. Those are from the left plant over here in the other tent. So that was the more vigorous plant, and the cuttings I took were also more vigorous. So they tell or they show quite a bit, especially this little tiny one here in the middle in the front. Nice and humid in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could just you know taper them off that humidity for a couple days and then just leave them in the tent. You'd be fine.
Yeah, I thought about doing that, or I could take one of my humidifiers up here. I've got that one and then that one. They pipe into the tent. I think I'm pretty much to the point where I don't need to supplement humidity. I'll have to go back and look on my graph. But yeah, I don't think these tents really need humidity anymore. I think they're putting off enough. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got going on as far as my grow.
Looks good, man. That one on the right is fucking tall.
Yeah, she is. That goth girl is going to get some good
Troublemaker.
weight off that. Then you got that one. It's coming up to the back here. It's kind of overcrowding the lift to the plant to the left of it a little bit. But I'm starting to get a little bit of trichomes on them already. No balls yet. Good thing.
That is good, yeah. And honestly, so here's the thing with mine that had the nanners on it was that I figured out like a week after I harvested it that my light cycle was off and I had a light turn on in the middle of the dark cycle for half an hour and then turn off again because one of the little pins got pushed without me noticing it. So it could have been that. So who knows? Um, but yeah, it's better to be safe than sorry and just keep an eye on it.
There's one I had to tape up. I split it. This is a long time ago. I don't know if I can pull this off. But you can see it's kind of split in the middle.
Split the plant gina.
Yep, got her open.
Shout out
Hey,
Smart Poker.
trade smart poker trademark.
Yep. Looks good, man. So how many times did you top those?
Just once. So what? Well, before I go down that rabbit hole, what are we talking about for plant training? Like, what do you want me to talk about specifically?
Oh, I was just
Like,
curious how many times you topped those that we were just looking at.
yeah, so just once on all these. So I just ran across. So you get four mains, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just top it once. I top it. I usually let it get to at least the fifth node, and then I top down to. So here's the thing. So I'm keeping two nodes. So I want to keep the two nodes that are closest to each other when I top that first topping or the only topping. So I'm either keeping the second and third node or the third and the fourth node, whichever ones are closer, because I just want that spacing to be tight right there. I don't
Okay.
want a big gap.
I
That's
got
it.
you.
And I just train them out. I use these wire ties here for direction to control the direction of them and the height as well. If I get one that's running away, I can just pull it down, try to keep it level all the way up. And that's kind of my goal. I normally don't like doing these offshoots, like especially low like this, but this plant was so short and squatty that I really had to do it because I didn't get to stack the height on it like I did on the other plants. But it looks like they're going to yield pretty good so far.
Yeah, it's you always take a little risk with the side branching on the lowers, but yeah, if it gets a little bit of something on top, at least, then you have the room to do it.
This one almost turned into a manifold like on its own. Or like, here we go. So this has an oddball one right here. This is an offshoot that I ended up keeping because I got the four mains around the edges, and this one just grew up. And by the time I got to the point where I was going to, really prune it and lollipop, it was like already level with the other ones. So I just kept it. Same thing here. I got this oddball one that came up here. That's what this one is right here. The
Yeah.
offshoot.
Went up there though.
Nice though.
Yeah. This one too. There's the other one. It's not quite as tall as the other ones, but
Yeah,
it'll give me some good bud.
Nice, man.
looks good.
Got this one all tied down. This one's almost too close to the pot, in my opinion. I beat the hell out of her.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I do that too up here. I put a scrog at the top so I can put my yo-yo. See, I've got this yo-yo hooked onto the top of it up there. So that gives me more mounting points for the yo-yos. I learned
That's
that the
smart.
first time. The first time I used them in that 5x5, I didn't have this. So I had to string up ratchet straps from the poles like to each corner and then crossways to try to give me something to hook onto to hang. It was a bitch, especially up in that grill, because it was at that point, it was like up past the point here where it goes past the lip on the extension, and that sucks trying to get up in there or the ladder to do something.
Mhm.
It's nice having that extra height, but it's not 100% convenient.
Yeah, it sure isn't. Pain in the ass. Did you ever think of maybe pulling the branches down, bending them up on top?
The one that's about to run out of height.
Yep. Just pull it over.
Well,
Do the same thing with a wire tie. I mean, it's not
yeah,
going to look great. It ain't going to look pretty, with all your buds sticking up. And if it's sideways, it'll still produce a lot of bud. Save them
yeah,
out,
because
I think.
there's a problem. Like it's way too close. I mean, 2 inches away, that's gonna do something at some point. I mean, they're fine now, but I know it's gonna fry it a little bit. I might just have to have a sacrificial bud up there, which
You
I hate
just
doing
bend
because
it
that's the
down.
best one.
Bend it toward the outside. That's all you need to do.
Maybe just take like an
Right.
inch or so off of it.
Or you can top it. Whatever.
Yeah, that's an option.
So, thanks for showing, guys. I unfortunately still don't have any plants at the moment. I have this one free plant, but yeah, it's not worth getting my shit all set up to just show you one plant. So,
Right on.
but I have so many plans when I get set up again. But yeah, since we're talking about training, let's I just want to go through a quick rundown on just like for anybody that has never heard of it before, doesn't know anything about growing. Let's just give a quick rundown on like why and different ways to do it. Um, the idea for training your plant, there's multiple reasons why you would do it. Um, Keeping your canopy level is a big motivator for people to train their plants. The yield that you get out of it is going to depend on how it's growing and how you train it as well. If you're in a very high humidity area, you're going to maybe train to allow more airflow. Yeah, different things like that. So the basic overview for growing and training is when the plant starts growing, it's pushing hormones to the very tip top of it, right? Those are the growth hormones are going up to the top and it's saying, let's grow this way to the tip top. And that's why you get like a Christmas tree type plant generally. If you don't mess with it at all, it's going to look like it's got one main top point and then a lot of side branching that kind of grows depending on where it is on the plant. That's going to depend on its height, right? So when you are trying to train the plant, what you're doing is you're manipulating the sites where those hormones are being sent. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. You can do it by physically cutting the plant, which we would call topping, is a version of that. Femming is another way of doing that. And we'll get into that in a second. But another way to do it would be those ones where you actually are cutting into the plant. That would be considered high stress training. It's a high stress on the plant to get the result that you want. The other way to do it would be a low stress training, which would be to bend the plant without cutting it. So tying that top point down is going to allow the hormones not to go all the way up there. It's going to spread it out to the other branches, which is what you're trying to do when you top it, as well as you take the very tippy top off. And it says, okay, well, now we got to put it to all the tippy tops on all the branches. And then you get a more even growth pattern on the branching. Same thing if you tie that top apical point down. That's the word, apical. Apical shoot is the tippy top shoot of the plant. Tie that down, and it is no longer the tippy top of the plant, and then the hormones are distributed differently without having to cut the plant itself. So those are just some terms. HST, high stress training, cutting the plant. LST, low stress training, not cutting the plant, just bending it. Those are terms that you're going to hear a lot. And I know this is like, I'm not trying to be pandering or like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, this is just for anybody that happens to come across this, patronizing. I'm not trying to be patronizing, because I know everybody whose name I see in the chat knows what we're talking about and like all these terms. But if somebody that is getting into growing comes across this, maybe they'll be grateful that we went over it. So yeah, so those would be like basic terminologies, and a couple different other terms that might tie into that would be like scrog, which is screen of green, which is putting a net like we were just showing in Jace's tent. You would put it above the plants and allow them to grow through the squares, and you would be able to train the plant to spread out more, or to have each like cola going through a square. And basically, like with the whole training the plant out, the reason why you would want to do that in a tent mainly would be to maximize your use of space. If you've only got 3 by 3 feet or whatever, you're going to want to fill that up with as much bud as you can, because that's the whole point of doing this. So yeah, Artman, do you have anything that you want to chime in, or thoughts on that? Just like the basic terminology, anything I missed or that wasn't clear?
You covered a lot of it. You did. I usually don't top mine when I put them into flower, because I want them to grow, and I just bend them down under the scrogs. So I just manipulate them, and like you said, the hormones change. They go along the side and they grow up. All the buds grow up. So, but it works pretty good. But you covered it really well.
Yeah. Jace, anything to add?
I mean, if you're getting started, for a beginner, probably, low stress training would be a better starting point, because you're not having to cut the plant, and that can be high anxiety at sometimes, especially your first time, because you don't know what you're doing, and you're like, crap, I'm going to cut a really good part of my plant off here. Is it going to die? But yeah, LST, like wire tying, or what I was doing there, or scrog net, great, because you're not actually cutting a plant. You're basically just bending it or maneuvering it, especially if you're on scrog net. You can just kind of gently tuck it under, and it's low risk. But yeah, like you said about the plant hormones, I mean, that's just kind of the general idea, especially indoor growing. Um, you want your canopy to be level so they get equal light distribution at the top.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good explanation on that. Yeah. If you have an even canopy, then each of the top buds cola sites is going to get equal amount of light, and is going to grow more uniform. But I want to say
Maximize your
welcome,
yield.
maximize your yield. Yep. I want to say welcome to Donkey Populous. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to the
Hey,
show.
buddy.
Look at these plants. I'm going to put you on
Oh, yeah.
spotlight if that's all right, and you can walk us through what we're looking at.
All right. Well, left side right here, we got Spartan Puke by Spartan Grown.
Nice.
He's looking like a big yielder, doing really well. And on the right is what is it? Westport Posse by Chet Westport. She's
Awesome.
starting to really darken up.
Man, you got some baseball bats in there, dude.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm all shaky. Those are my tremors.
Oh, you're all good. Thanks for showing us. So that Spartan Puke, that's a Vortex cross, I
Yeah,
think.
by Donnie Berger, I believe.
Yeah. What's it smell like?
Oh, that was very unique. It's got a really sharp punch to the nose to begin with, kind of like a chemical smell, and a really heavy onion musk afterwards. And
Awesome.
on the stem rub, kind of cheesy. So really kind of waiting for this one.
All kinds of funk
Got
in
me.
Yeah.
You got me.
And the Westport posse, I kind of want to break the bud off and just eat it. Like it smells so sweet and like candy.
Hmm.
And
Awesome.
Nice.
got a nice kind of menthol to it, like a Vicks vapor rub almost. It's kind of weird.
Is that a 2x2 or a 3x3?
That's a 3x4 with a clone chamber on the side that I don't use.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
And then on the opposite tent over here, I got 4 plants crammed into a 3x3. These are all one strain lunar cheese by Luna Whitcomb. Not gonna lie, I screwed up on these ones. This one's got a really stunted, but the rest of them are doing pretty well.
I mean, they look pretty good. I look happy. They're green. I see you're in
Jeez.
city pickers or what's
Yeah,
the
earth boxes.
yeah, earth boxes.
They've kind of really helped
Somebody,
They've
somebody
kind
likes cheese.
of go out. What was that?
I said somebody likes cheese. That's one of my
Jeez.
favorites. Hell yeah. That looks great.
Is that a micro array up there?
Yeah, it is. I like it, but I just don't like the hanging height. It's a lot of space. When it comes to training, it's unless I put in a scrog net, I'm really kind of struggling. But usually when I first run plants, I just let them go, let them see what they do.
Is that what you did with these here? These
Yeah.
aren't messed with at all.
Well, I topped this one here and this one back here. This one back right, I just bent over and she wasn't really happy with that. And this one I just let her do her thing.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. You can see the difference there with the main side branching on the back left one is very dominant. Like you can see all the side branches came up after you topped it.
Yeah.
And then the same for the one in the front as well that you topped it. They're all very uniform in terms of height. Different heights for the two plants, obviously, but still like keeping them level. And then the one on the right there, yeah, you can see the apical point is very pronounced. So that would be the untrained plant. Looks
Yeah.
good, man. I love it.
I like the smells coming off of the 2 on the left. Those are kind of really unique. One in the back left kind of smells like a rotting blueberry. And right up here in front, this one actually smells like a blueberry cheesecake, which
That's
is
yeah,
like
that sounds tasty.
Hmm.
the one in back is just straight funk, like just rotting cheese.
It's like if that blueberry cheesecake was left out in the sun for a week, huh?
Yeah.
I like it.
And same goes for the Spartan puke. I didn't bother doing any kind of trellising or anything. And I thought since you guys were talking about trellising, it'd be a good time to jump in. Like you never really know what they're gonna do until you grow them out. But see, she's starting to flop, and she still got us another 2 weeks, I believe.
On them.
Do you have a plan for tying those up or anything?
I got a 6 net that I'm probably kind of just work them all through, just so they don't all fold over.
I gotcha.
But
So you would be using the net more for just bracing the plant up versus training it out at this point, right?
yeah, next run I got a I got a few cuts of this one, so I'm gonna run a tent solely on that and just kind of just spread them out, see where that goes.
Would you do like one plant, two plants, or like a whole bunch of them, like a like a sea of green, or
Nah, just in a 3x3, like I really struggle with my humidity. So I mean, two plants, kind of struggle a little bit without a dehumidifier. Like in the tent with the four plants, and I gotta pop the doors open on it, like every chance that I get, just to make sure that it stays relatively low.
yeah, that was something I was dealing with because I'm growing in 3x3s, or it was. That's what I have. Um, and the humidity is if you pack the plants in, obviously it's going to affect anybody's space, but yeah, it's a weird amount of space to try and keep the climate
Yeah.
right.
I'll probably just go with two. I got five cuts of it, so I can toss in two and just work with that.
What
With
size
those,
pot are you in there?
Earth boxes,
Like what size? Like how many gallon?
they fit just over 10.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
uh,
they kind of really kick out massive plants. Like
Well, I fit,
I could probably just use one and fill up this entire tent.
that's about perfect size for that tent.
Yeah, they fit in there nice and snug.
I was gonna say with
What's
those
those
big
what's those
colas like
tubes
that.
coming up?
What was that?
What's those black tubes coming up? I've never seen those before.
Oh, it's a sip system. So put water down into the tube and it goes into a reservoir underneath.
Oh,
It could
cool.
if it's
Sipped
about
is a sub irrigated planter. So yeah, it's a bottom watering system, but all like manual, not automated.
right. I don't really like keeping too much water in the reservoir. So I usually just water in a gallon, see how much ends up at the bottom and fill it as needed.
Right. Yeah, Jace, inside there, about a quarter of the way up is like a grate, and you can put the soil on top of that grate and then pour the water through the hole, and it'll go down underneath it and soak up underneath it.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I did those AC Infinity auto water pots, and it was kind of the same principle as bottom feeding system, but it used wicks, like fabric wicks, and you just set your fabric pot on it, and then it had a reservoir underneath it.
Where's abolished? He's the butt chugging master. Looks good, man. Yeah, those big colas like that, if you train it right, you could end up with a huge yield.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's some weight in that tent right there. You're gonna get some good stuff out of that.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how much everything's kind of frosted up in here. These ones just got some rails to it.
Looks awesome. I haven't grown any of Chad's stuff yet.
It was nice and easy. She came out a little mutated at first, but she bounced out of it.
It's
I'm
good.
actually
A couple
try some of your
partners too.
What's that, Art?
Sorry. Okay, I got a couple of Chaz and a couple of Spartans. I got to grow. I don't have the puke though.
I don't either. I have a vortex.
Yeah, I think that's what I got, and I've got, or no, maybe it's Project V. Maybe I can't remember. I have to go back and look.
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
the
I gave you.
vortex.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
since
okay, I've got that, and then I think I've got Westport grape juice. Is that what it is?
yeah.
Yeah, I've got some of that.
I'm gonna
Good.
pop some of your goth girls next run too.
Oh, awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
that's cool.
really fighting that humidity coming in the spring.
I gotcha.
I'm really dying to see how purple I can get those plants to turn out, or if I can.
Yeah, if they're flowering up and towards the fall, hopefully the cooler temperatures. That seemed like that's what brought it out on mine.
Well, I'm over here in Washington. It don't heat up over here until about August, and
I gotcha.
it's only for maybe 6 weeks at most.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that would be a high humidity location for sure.
Oh yeah.
Cool. You got any tips or tricks you want to share about training plants or anything like that?
I mean, your training's always gonna, you know, depend upon your roof area. If you're in a smaller tank, I always like to top my plants and kind of spread them out because you really only get about maybe what 5 feet of headspace before the light,
Mhm.
and then after that, you're really struggling to fit everything in there. So, I mean, topping, trellising, if you're in a small area, would definitely help you out.
Yep. Maximize your yield, as Artman said. That's
There it is.
awesome. Cool. You're welcome to hang out, or if you got anything else to show, or yeah, smoke up and just chime in if you want. I'm gonna take the spotlight off so we can get the full panel here.
All right. Actually,
See,
What's that?
I got to turn my lights off. I kept them on for an extra 30 so that way I could show.
Oh man, well, yeah, do that. And I appreciate you showing us for sure. You got a beautiful grow and excellent looking plants. I can't wait to hear how that Spartan puke turns out for sure.
Man, came here. Then I just wanted you guys to know it wasn't a bot. I've been getting a lot
Oh
on Instagram. People
no,
thought
you're good.
bot account.
It's the most skilled bot grower I've ever met.
Hey, next time, hey, Donkey, next time you come in, we'll put you first so you don't have to change your light schedule.
Yeah.
All right.
We have no problem doing that. We'd rather do that, we don't want to mess with your lights. So
Well, I figured an extra 30 minutes ain't gonna hurt. That
yeah, probably not, but we can do it.
I've struggled so much on this run with power outages because of the weather.
Mhm.
I'm honestly surprised I've gotten this far into it without any major issues.
Well,
Good.
I'm glad you have got this far without any major issues because that is always good. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for showing your plans. I don't want to keep you from getting them in the dark. But yeah.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, man.
yeah,
Looking good.
looking damn good there, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, come on back. We'd like to see it again.
Right on. Will do.
Roll up here real quick. Let's see,
that's
when is
cool.
it gonna be? That is cool to see. New gardens. Love seeing new gardens.
So
Those
I've never
parts were
used
huge.
I've never used scrogging as like the primary source of my training. I've always like used that as like a secondary, you know what I mean? So like I've done some other type of training to the point where I'm putting the trellis net up. Um, I'm thinking, oh yeah, Northern Sprogger, like I don't know if you guys have watched him, but that's his style. Like he'll put the trellis net like I think it's like 4 inches from the top of the pot, and then he'll veg his plants under it and use that. So his plants are really low and wide, and it's a really cool technique. I mean, it's not my style of growing, but we're just talking about different training techniques and methods.
Yeah, that's reminds me of Cheddar Bob he uses the
Yeah.
lobster pot steel whatever to train, and that's like super tight spacing on there, so they kind of grow like flat across the bottom of it, and then the branching comes up through it. But that's the whole idea, right? Because people will take their tomato plants and lay them flat, and all the side branching comes up, and one plant becomes like, 4 or whatever.
Different strokes for different folks. It's all about what suits your needs the best. Whatever makes you the most comfortable, and whatever you feel the most comfortable doing gives you the best results.
So my style of growing, I don't use a scrog. Um, I use very small pots and I grow a bunch of little plants, and I generally top them, but that's because I keep that top as a clone and flower them really small so that I can see what the plant is like and then decide if I'm keeping the clone to grow it bigger or not. Um, but I like to move my plants around a lot between the two tents and stuff, and I'm constantly moving plants from veg into flower and culling stuff in the flower. So having it all in nets would not really work out for what I'm trying to do. Um, but I do use like bamboo, or not bamboo, but it's like stakes essentially to prop the plants up if they get too tall or anything like that. And that would be topping and staking, like just to tie them up so they don't fall over, would be the only real training that I do. Generally speaking, if I'm gonna make like if I'm growing, like I need a head stash and I have nothing and I need as much as I can get, I would definitely be doing multiple toppings and using at least one net to spread the plants out, um, for to maximize the yield. But because I'm looking at different genetics and flavor profiles and things like that, it's easier for me to have all the plants be like easy to move and stuff like that. So we got Sky overhead joining us. Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. They'll get it.
I've always used super cropping as like usually when I super crop though, it's like something got away from me. I know other people use it more as a primary source of training, but that's kind of my last ditch resort to try to save something or level it back off, you know, if one runs away from you.
That's a good point. We didn't talk about super cropping yet.
That's that's really high anxiety. I mean, you'll still break them off at some point, but yeah, you really got to be careful and take your time on this.
So super cropping is when you like basically you're like beating up the stem to the point where you can bend the plant over. Um so you would gently pinch it like a lot, you know, and soften up all the fibers in there, and then you can bend it over. Yeah, no.
I concur.
All right. Sky overhead, I see you. I have spotlighted myself so you can mess with your camera if you need to.
Okay, good, thanks.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know why it took me so long to figure this out, but it happens every time. Okay, here we go. Come on.
I think you just, yeah,
Okay, there
there
we
you
go.
go. All
All
right.
right. Now we're
Switch
in.
you.
All right, I
Oh.
can't stay out here too long because it's now starting to rain. So,
Oh, well,
Well, they're gonna
do you
like
mind
it.
turning your phone sideways for us?
oh, sorry.
No, you're good. There, that's better.
Nice.
So, everything's out here that was in the under the light. Still the only one that I know is female is this one over here. This one is definitely a female right here. I got some blue tape on it.
Nice. Love that blue tape.
Yeah, so it's
They're looking
cold out
good.
here. Probably about 48 degrees, 50 degrees.
Oh yeah.
Hardy plants. Looking good, man.
Growing up. Didn't you say you
It's
took
raining.
a lot? You took some of the hydrogen pebbles out of them. What did you do when you transplanted them?
So this one right here, most of the hydrogen fell off, so it took a while for it to like perk back up. It took about 2 days for it to perk up. But all the rest of these, pretty much I left the hydroton on them because
Okay.
the root systems were way better and it just held them all together. So when I transplanted these, they didn't even phase them.
Doesn't
There's
look like it.
one, there's the droopy one right there. That one's pretty droopy still. But that one must have had some more root rot than the other ones did. But it's cold out. So I just, some of them I tried to pull the kale out of them and plant them up in their own containers. But the ones that had the healthiest roots, I couldn't pull them apart. So, but everything looks like it's still growing, and I think I lost 2 or 3 plants out of the 14 that I planted. Wait, how many did I plant? I think I planted 16.
Not bad
So
at all.
yeah, especially for the way I was doing it, I just totally was like abusing them.
You were winging it. You wanted to share what you wanted to do. I remember that.
Yeah,
Just
I
they
was
set
just
it all up.
I was letting the plants adapt to what I had.
Yep. Said I got to
They
deal with what I got, and so do you, plants.
they're hardy.
Yeah.
Look at them. So,
Yeah, as far as training on these ones, I just had to light like 12, anywhere from 8 to 12 inches above the canopy, so it just like it didn't give them really any time to stretch. And then just the top pieces, if you just go around and bend the tops over, it'll just kind of like um give it extra time for the bottom ones to catch up to the top. But if you just do that a couple times a day, just bend over the top a little bit, bend it over this way, bend it over that way. And that's really all you need to do to get these all. So you can, these are already coming up to the top already.
So this way of trading, you're just slowing down the apical growth manually, I guess would be the term, so that the
Yeah.
side branching has a better chance to catch up. Yeah,
Yep.
I got you.
And it makes that stem a lot more tougher too. So instead of growing taller, it's just gonna grow fatter.
I got you. Like everything
Yeah.
else in this plant, there's a million ways to do it.
Yep.
we've seen that one.
Hello, motor.
So let's see here. I just basically have kale. And these are all just Gospero.
I love it. That makes me so happy to see him outside. That's so cool.
So this row right here doesn't have any hydroton on them. And then these rows are the ones that were in the cloner that I couldn't separate out of the cups because the roots were just too much. But they all look like they're doing the best. The ones that were in the cups.
They look happy, yeah.
And then there's some celery down here too. So I was able to pull those out because they didn't have very much roots. And then I think there's some chard in there somewhere too. And then there's my beak.
Nice.
It's funny.
And
IPM.
then so there's more like celery, more tomatoes, celery. Let's see. Oh, that's one of my seeds that I made that it's kind of deformed right now because I had it in that same system.
Mm.
Let's see. We got celery growing from underneath the board over here.
Oh wow.
Like I just threw this over this table so my chicken could have a place to hide under from the rain. But I got like celery, blackberry plants. What else is in here? Looks like some sort of spearmint or
Yeah,
mint
it looks like a
plant.
mint.
Oh yeah, I need to dig all that stuff out and go plant it in the yard. So basically, what I'm doing here, for when it rains, for now until the plants get too big. So I'm just taking like this lawn chair and I'm sticking it up inside here like this. Like that. And then on this side, I'll have to take a couple of these plants, take a couple of these and stick them underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can take this and I stand this up straight like that in the tray. And then I took this cover here and threw it over the top of that and weighed it down with some of those logs right there.
Nice.
So that
Very
kept the rain
DIY.
out of it.
That's awesome.
So that was just something I had to come up with at like 11 at night when I heard the rain start. Ooh.
I want to say welcome to Ice and I. I saw you come in. I didn't want to leave you hanging, but I wanted to keep going with this as well. You got a minute
And
to hang
then,
out, Ice and I?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
and these have been out and freezing every night. So this is rainbow chard, which this is the green one. Or it might be yellow. I think it's the green one. And this is red Russian kale, green onions and kale,
Kale, kale, and kale.
and chard.
Charred kale
So
and green onions. I love
yeah,
You madman.
it.
Eat the
and
future,
then
folks.
I'm taking those and I'm planting those down in the ground here in the next couple days. There's a little spot cleaned out way down here that my wife
How big?
made.
How big will that get?
Um, the plants the seeds came from was about 6 feet tall and probably about
Holy
4 or 5
moly.
feet wide.
So you'll have lots of juicing.
Yeah. So
Jeez, you'll have more than you can handle. Yeah, absolutely.
this kale's full of bugs right here. That's why it looks so awful.
What do you do for IPM?
Just the garden hose. I'll just get down here with the garden hose and squirt them all off.
Gotcha.
I always do that first, no matter what. And then if you just keep doing that, like every day or two, you'll knock them down to where it's not a problem anymore.
Okay.
But I don't like using a bunch of sprays and stuff.
Right.
Like they only work so good. Looks like this one's starting to grow again. Like it's been growing since October.
Re-veg or
It's starting to veg again,
that's awesome.
but
Yeah,
it
I would
smells
definitely
delicious.
do something with that because if it made it through the whole winter.
Yeah, and it looks like this one next to it's a female too, but look at how small this one stayed. Because this one sprouted probably about a month ago.
Immediately started flowering, huh?
Yeah. And I don't know what else I can show you. Like this stuff, I believe they brought it in the 1800s to feed their cattle. The Asians, it's called Asian greens or wild Asian radish is what it's called, rat's tail.
Hmm.
So it's the flowers are edible, the leaves are edible. They also use it to feed their cows and stuff.
Nice.
So there's like a lot of stuff that was planted or that grows wild here, like clovers and the stuff that the cows would be eating. So
I
I try to
gotcha.
let those wild radishes grow, and it kind of attracts most of the butterflies to them. So you can I like to plant them next to like my broccoli plants and my kale plants, all the brassicas,
Yeah,
because
for the pollinators, huh?
well, it kind of attracts like the caterpillars to those plants instead of the plants that I want to be eating
Oh, I
mostly.
gotcha.
So
Cool.
I'm trying to let that stuff grow up. And then it's kind of like since it's a radish, it's a root vegetable. So it's gonna like do a lot of that soil tilling for you.
Yep,
And it's gonna mine out those minerals that the other plants can't get to.
I gotcha.
And then same with where is it? I'll show you the other plant. This is called mallow. It's also edible. And that's another root thing too. The root's massive. That also mines up a whole bunch of minerals the other plants can't get.
That's cool.
But
And it's
mallow
edible.
is a good one for increasing terpenes and oils around the surrounding plants. It's one of those companion plants that increase the flavors of the plants surrounding it.
Yeah.
I need to get some of that mallow. Wait, can I put it in
I
its
can never
own pot? Can I put it in
I
its
can
own
never get them
pot?
to start.
Um, yeah, you can put it in its own pot.
No, but would it still increase the terpenes if I sat it next to a weed plant, or does it have to be in the
Oh,
soil with it?
I
I
have no
don't.
idea. Like
I'm
I
not
just
sure.
use it like as mulch and stuff after it grows.
Hmm.
I did watch something on the television last night saying about the plants don't actually. Well, they do. They have like a brain inside their root tips, like the central command center. But I think they do actually communicate via aromatherapy sort of type of deal. They release smells and chemicals into the environment, into the air, and I believe some sort of frequency that we're not quite aware of. But plants are talking to each other.
Yeah, there's more and more research about that coming out for sure.
Yeah, I've got some thoughts on that nose blindness. I think that it may be that we're tuning in to smelling the pheromones instead of the actual smells of the plants,
Yeah, the stuff
That's
they're releasing
that's
off
just
definitely.
a that's just the thought that I've had because I get to that point too where I go, man, this plant doesn't smell that good. I'm smelling something weird.
Mhm.
So like you're kind of nose blind to the actual smell of the plant. I don't know. That's just one of my weird thoughts that I got roaming around in my head. And then yeah, just all this stuff I need to break out of these pots and just plant them in the ground. This is oregano. And that one's also oregano. And then I have charred, and it's also spreading out through the ground because it's already seeded up. And then I've got cilantro that's made it through the winter. And this wheatgrass is nice and huge.
Good for juicing.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's some cilantro going on in here.
You got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait until this yard is nothing but food.
That's the goal.
Yeah, here's some nice looking kale too.
Very cool.
All right. So there's not really much else to see.
Well, thanks for showing us what you got. I mean, you got
Yeah.
a lot going on already, so we don't need you to do anything more than what you're doing, man. Looks
All
great.
right.
Good.
And I'm glad to see
Yep.
everything's outside and happy, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing that I have all these stacks and stacks of pots over here. And then once I pot everything up, I'm still reaching for like cups like this or anything that I can because I run out of pots so quick.
Yep. That's funny.
It's crazy.
Well, I want to give Ice and I a chance to show anything that he wants to show. If that's all right with you,
cheers,
Sky.
everybody. Thanks.
You're welcome to hang out and
Yep, I'll hang out for a little bit.
awesome.
Nice.
Ice and I, how are you doing, buddy? You just waking up over there, huh?
Yeah, I'm just dog tired. Been looking up, I was I'm sort of like staying awake at night time, trying to keep an eye on her, make sure she's still breathing and all that, and it's just it's taking it out of me at the minute.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
Also,
man.
that's all right. Yeah, here we go. And as you can see, it's now starting to all come up. Got some there.
Can you turn your
Some light.
phone sideways?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Thank you, sir. Looks
very
great. Look at all
lush.
that green.
It is
Yeah,
lush.
it's looking good now. I gave a spray yesterday, final spray. They've had 2 days on flower. As these now keep coming up, I'll just keep bending these over, just to slow these down a little bit. The ones that are coming up, because these ones over this backside are slightly lower down. So I'll just keep just what Sky was saying, doing low stress training as that come up. But yeah, hopefully the spray is I can still see a little bit of residue actually, because I did go hard on the spray yesterday. I thought, well, it's going to be the last time.
What spray is that? What are you spraying them with?
Oh, I made my own spray. I
Is
used
that one of the oils that you used before?
yeah. Basically, I just put all my ingredients into ChatGPT, well, not ChatGPT, but another AI, and just said, make me a spray to deal with the thrips. And it came up with a little recipe. And I thought, fuck it, I'll give it a go. But yeah, it was basically in 2.5 litres, about 25 mils of neem, 2.5 mils of cedar oil, about 1.25 mils of clove oil. Then I had some citric acid. Then I had some ascorbic acid, some castor oil, castle soap, some wetting agent. Yeah, it was quite a good little mix.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I don't think any bugs are gonna stand up to that.
I think some.
No, and I put some isopropyl alcohol in there as well, about 25 mils of that as well, just to help all the oils emulsify a little bit better. Normally I don't put the alcohol in, but I had it and I threw it in my ingredients, and ChatGPT AI
Yeah.
suggested that would be a good idea because kills them on contact with the ISO.
Yeah.
But you don't want to use generally don't want to use ISO as an IPM because it will fuck up your plants.
All right, man, what were you saying? Okay. I think I felt like I cut you off, so I didn't want to be rude.
Nope.
What you got there?
Well, I thought it might have been a frip, but I don't think it is.
Hmm.
If it is, it's dead. But yeah, it's sort of like generally sometimes you can see a little mark like that on your leaf, and it just quickly disappears.
Hmm.
It might have been a dead frip. Can't really get a good look at it.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's just sat there on the top of the leaf. So it might have been a frip.
Well, if it's a dead one, it's a good one.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. Anyways, like I say, I sprayed all of this. So most of this vegetation is going to get. I'm going to, in a couple of weeks, probably around about between 14 and 21 days into the flip. I'm going to come and have a good lollipop and strip back of all the major fan leaves and all the stuff that just don't look too right. Like I say, I'll probably make this a little bit photosensitive. So over the next few days, I might develop a few spots where I can see the oil still on the leaf. You see that slightly?
Yeah. It's a little
That
shiny.
that might develop a little bit of photosensitivity. Like I said, I'm in veg. Oh well, I'm in transition, so I'm not really too fussed about it. Even if I did severely damage it, I won't too stressed as long as I've got the frips. But we're all right. We're all good. The leaves didn't. It's been 24 hours. The leaves are still on and still praying. So
AI didn't kill your plants yet.
No. And there's no grips. And I know I've got myself covered now for a good few weeks. And in a couple of weeks, I'll introduce predators just to see it off for the rest of flowering. Just vegetable. Oh, and these are neglected. I do need to water these, possibly pot them up again into a slightly larger pot. But yeah, these are really light. They really need watering. And these ones at the back, they seem to get the less amount of water. As you can see, they need some water and some love.
If you fill that pot up the rest of the way with media, you won't have to water it as often.
Yeah, no, I do know that, but the roots aren't going to come back up and colonize that. I wouldn't have thought now. I don't know. I should have.
I just meant as like more of like a lazy tip, not specifically to you, but just in general. The more media, the less you have to water it.
Yeah, that would be a water holding situation there. But like I said, I'm just going to get a slightly larger pot and pot them up. I'm probably going to keep some of these in here because I might just flip some small plants and dust them up, and do an F3 whilst I'm at it, checking them out.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Would you use the previous pollen or?
Yeah, I've still got the grape Hooly pollen and the this cheese Hellraiser's crosses. So I've still got that. Well, if I got any mail, depending on what it looks like. Maybe if one of them, there's a couple in there that look like they're going to go purple or pink anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If I get one that's a male that comes out across in the one with the purple leaves on, I might decide to take them. This is my fucking cupboard. Has everyone got a cupboard like this? All their gear and
yeah, pretty much.
Love everything.
All the old shit and stuff that you only use once in a while. Yeah.
The grow graveyard.
Yeah, pretty much.
These ones might actually be the good one. I love to do them. Put up into,
Bigger pots, huh?
yeah.
There
Well,
you go.
I do like to do this the transition, you know, building my root ball. That's the
Right.
way of that's the way I started growing, because I used to use the, you know, like Fox Farm, but we have we have like BioBiz over here. That's like you know, it's got 6 weeks supply of nutrition in your bag soil. So what I used to do, instead of using nutrients, I used to just pot up. When I've used the soil out, or when the plants start showing a deficiency, just stick it on the new pot. Then when
Yep.
that starts, you know, and when that shows a deficiency, you stick it in the new pot. When you get into your flowering, you then go into your final pot and you try and make that one a little bit bigger. And generally, you can if you do the regular potting up and you pot up just before flip, you can pretty much get away the whole grow just water only out of a bag if you regularly pot up, which I do like that. But like I said, it's work. you got to be on it. Like I said, with my dog and everything at the minute. Like I said, them plants in the veg tent really need sorting out. But I just got, I'm just pulling at all the edges at the minute of my life. I'm sort of like torn here, torn there. Got to do this, got to do that, and there's just not enough time in the day for everything right at the minute.
Yeah, I understand. It's priorities, and sounds like you got the right ones. So, you know, if your plants are a little yellow, they'll be all right.
Yeah, that'll be all right. They're in veg. You know, I'll get that. I'll look at it. So I'll get to them eventually. Oh yeah, let's have a look at these ones I dumped in the middle there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, these
They're coming up.
yeah, coming up all right. I took a couple out that weren't looking too good, but yeah, these are all you know, they're going to produce a decent top on them. That's not one. I mean, this one might have to come out unless it decides to push up on through. But yeah, I'd say I've got a few decent tops out there for the CBD.
Nice. Good medicine.
Yeah, that's the ones that are just hanging around still in these deep root extenders. They're still looking all right. No deficiencies or anything. Which
Are you feeding those anything?
no,
Huh.
you can see there's a little they're struggling a little bit. And these are really light, probably need water as well.
So these
But yeah,
ones that in the main space here are, did you top these at all or just bending them over?
yeah, some of them got I've done a bit of topping. I tried fimming. The fim did the fim work? I might have one in here where the fim actually worked.
So let's talk about fimming real quick since you brought it up because we didn't talk about it yet. Fimming is, and this is not to anybody on the panel, and like I said, I'm not trying to be patronizing. It's just the basic information for anybody that's new that comes across this. FIM stands for fuck I missed, and it's the idea is that you were trying to top your plant and you missed, and you cut it in a very specific spot that now is going to produce, instead of 2 main nodes like a topping would, it's going to produce 2 to 4 nodes depending on where you cut it on that apical shoot. And yeah, I don't know if you got one that worked or not.
Be cool.
But if you go on, you can look up on Google where exactly to be cutting it to try this. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you end up with just a topped plant. Sometimes you end up with 4 nodes, you know, who knows?
Yeah, sometimes it don't even top. And you just get a
Yeah,
bunch of fucked up growth.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it takes a little more skill to fin versus topping. timing's critical.
Yeah. My brother was really good at it. He's got a way of he goes into it, into the colax, like into the growth tip, and he separates them, and then he just pushes over the section in the center somehow, and it films it perfectly. How he does it, he just like peels it apart. I can't do it with both hands because you need two hands to do it. Hang on, let me see.
That's all right.
But yeah, it's like you peel apart the new growth and you see the little bud inside. You can just almost like just push it off. But yeah, it manages to. Yeah, I think this one here. Did this one? No, I don't think that did. Oh, no. I'm sure there is one in here though that did actually get 4 tops on it.
I don't really know anybody that films regularly.
No,
Generally,
to be honest,
it's-
with you, I don't think I'll do it again because it just makes your shit look janky. And when you do get your 4 tops, like I said, or you get a bunch of tops all close together, like 1, 2, 3, and there's 4 here. It's just going to grow up and overcrowd itself. You know, like
Yeah.
there's not going to be that much space between them here, and you're going to be issuing the issue in them is going to be bud rot, and because you've got buds touch another bud, and that generally I don't like. So I might actually end up where they're close together like that. I might end up taking 2 of them out, or just pinching this middle one off.
That's why I don't like filming. It's unpredictable, the growth that you get on it. So it makes it more challenging for me at least to train it properly.
Yeah, that's it's something that I like to do every now and then, just to be like, oh, I'll give it a go. But generally, like I said, it's a lot of the time it's unsuccessful. You end up with janky growth, or you end up with too compacted, like too close together growing tips. Yeah, I ain't gonna do it again. I don't think. I think that's dead and buried now. But then again, I say that. Then again, I'll probably try it again at another point in time. I'm like, yeah, why not? Top a load and thin one, as I do.
what makes a good grower is trying stuff out more than
One
once.
thing we didn't talk about for training was lollipopping, I don't believe.
Yeah, we can talk about lollipopping if you want. What you got?
Hang on a second, I'm trying to throw something away.
Oh, you're good.
I can actually show. Well, I mean, I've showed it already, but
I'm
I guess
gonna
it
take
really
the
just.
spotlight off Asuna because it's making me a little motion sick.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I mean, I guess it really just applies to indoor growers. I've never grown outdoors. I mean, I don't know. I guess the training's a lot less involved, or if you even do any at all. But lollipopping, you just remove the lower growth. I go up to about half the plant. Some people do like a third, but basically you're just removing stuff that could become larf, or just undesirable. So you're basically just transferring that energy up to the top. So you're stripping. I like to leave the leaves at least through the bolt, and then when I get done, I'll strip the leaves off. So I'll just pinch the node sides off, leave the leaves, because I like to have those extra leaves on there until it's done. But yeah, just better overall yield. I mean, I don't know of anybody that doesn't polypop at least to some extent. Some people, or everybody, at least I think, indoors prunes to some extent. Get rid of that.
Right, because the lower bud sites are going to be very larfy, because they're not getting any light. They're not getting a lot of the hormones are bypassing them and going to the top of the plant there on those really tall colas that you got. What I do is, and like I was saying, there's so many different ways to do this, and you can combine all these different training techniques in different ways for different outcomes. I like to make a lot of edibles, so I don't mind having some larf on my plants, and I don't need the tops to be as dense because the trade-off is I strip the bottom third, I leave the middle third of the plant for like edibles and stuff, and then I take all the top third part of the plant for smoking. But yeah, that's just my style of doing it. And the larfy stuff on the bottom, I know it's going into the edibles, so I'm gonna I have it because I use it, you know.
Yeah, that's where I'm at because I used to lollipop up even more, but yeah, I like to make a lot of edibles, so that makes really good edible product right there. And I don't even really trim it, when I get to that point. I'm
Right,
just making edibles out of it.
right. Trim the pretty ones and throw everything else into the butter. That's what, yeah.
Into the ardent.
Yep, into the ardent.
The other thing, when you lollipop, and I noticed you haven't done it, Jay, but do you use a scalpel to take off them side branches as close to the main stem as you can? Because then you don't get any shit growing back.
Yeah, I've noticed that. No, I just use my scissors. And a lot of times, like if I can, I'll just pinch it off. I don't use scissors at some point. I'll just pinch it off.
Yeah, I normally just pinch it off, but I noticed when I've done the scalpel job and take it, almost like you make the stem just smooth again because you've just removed all that. Generally, you don't get the shit grow back again, and you ain't got to go around and pluck it in another 4 weeks.
That's what I'm doing right now as you're saying that. I'm plugging the old shit that's growing back.
Yeah.
Hey, Jace, there's a question for you from Operation Annihilation. He says, do you do this on day 21 or when do you lollipop?
So I kind of do it like in two stages. I like to do it in veg before I go into the flip, like at least a few days. So I'll get the obvious stuff that I know is not going to make it up into the canopy or stuff that I'm not going to keep. And then after the bolt, pretty much as it's finishing off. So like maybe towards the end of week 2 or halfway through week 3, I'll start cleaning it up again. And then I just go back about once a week and then just get anything that's like regrown, or I don't like to get too aggressive when I lollipop it the first time. So I might eventually come back and take stuff a little as I go, something that I thought might have made it, before, but it didn't quite make it to the point in the canopy where I wanted it to. So then I'll just go back and do it again.
Thank you. Yeah, the lollipopping is also good for airflow. Because a lot of microclimates down low is where you get funky stuff happening. And that eventually will transfer up higher because of the light. If it's a darker, wet space, with less airflow, you're gonna have more optimal conditions for things like mold. So
Well, I
stripping the
see it
bottom of
too.
the
It's
plant. Go ahead.
the plant only has, so much energy to go around. So if you remove those lower bud sites, it's not using that energy on those little larvae buds, and it's putting it up more towards the top buds.
Yeah, encourage it shifts the hormone balance slightly as well and pushes some I can't remember what it is, but it pushes some stuff to the new growth. So what was being expended down the bottom gets diverted back up to the top. And also the nodes 1 and 2, if you're going to get any Hermes, pretty much from your weak plants. I wouldn't say necessarily weak plants, but them lowers tend to be the ones that if you're going to have anything show on there, anything that's going to cause you any problems, it's probably going to be on them lower couple of nodes. And by the time the plant's got a little bit taller and has grown out that little phase it was having when it was younger or whatever, but yeah, if you make it a standard practice of removing them first 2 nodes, 1 and 2, you're pretty much bypassing that process of getting them Hermes that come out of the lowers, should I say.
I guess the other thing that I just thought of to mention is that when you do top it, generally it's better to let it grow out a couple nodes further than what you want to top it, so that when you do take that off, it has a more established root mass that can push more energy up to the new growth. At least that's how I was taught, was let it grow up to like 5 nodes and then top it back to 3 or something like that. Don't pinch
Yeah,
the very tippy top off the plant. Is not going to be as productive.
I see some people topping them straight away. You know, they're like, I ain't got time to fuck about, and they're almost like, you know, as soon as that it's got the proper, you know, like a say 2 nodes on it, where you got your proper leaves, not your 3-finger. You got a 5-finger leaf. They'll top it there, you know, and they're going straight for that fucking almost like a main line from the off, and
Yeah.
they're not bothering to. You know, if they're topping it, they're like, that's a waste of my time. You know, why am I going to grow this up another couple of nodes when I'm just going to chop it right here? I can already start putting out some nice side branches. Horses for courses, and it's, you know, what works for you. I suppose every plant will respond differently as well. You might get some that didn't mind being topped at a young age, and you're going to have some that will just maybe freak over and just curl over and die. You know?
So you made a good point about the, you know, waiting to top to the certain node. That also brings up the point of, I was thinking about timing of any high stress training, like topping. I don't like to do it like after another stressor event. So like if I just up potted it, you know, I don't want to top it right away. I want to let it recover from the transplant. Or, you know, like if you're about to flip to flower, like I don't like to top like right before I'm about to flip. I like to at least give it a few days, you know, or even a week to recover. I like to see new growth. I like to see vigorous. I like to see it bounce back before I do anything else to it.
See, now I'll be on the other way around with that one, Jay, because I'll be like, well, if I'm gonna cause some stress to it and it's gonna have to recover, I'm gonna do all that stress if I can in one go. And so I've only got the possibly, you know, if I really stress it, I've got 2 weeks of it of being stalled or stunted. But you know, rather than like I could possibly pot it up, stress it out, it's 2 weeks. I could top it out, stress it out, it's another fucking 2 weeks. You could then be adding 4 weeks onto your grow where you could have just done it all in that one, got the stress over and done with in one period, the high stress. You know, but if you're delicate when you're potting up, you shouldn't really stress it out too much. But topping it is, you know, yeah, that's a high stress, and it will take a good few days to bounce back from being topped.
Interesting, because I was going to say the opposite, that up potting it can potentially be a higher stress on the plant than topping it, because I don't really see, when I top stuff or cut clones or whatever, I don't see like the plant doesn't look too sad or droopy or anything for me, but sometimes they don't like the repotting when I do it, you know. It just depends on your skill level, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
don't look at you. Your plants don't look sad when you top them. They just refuse to grow. You don't see any new growth for, you know, whatever that stage is whilst it's doing its repairs, you know, sealing up that wound, whatever. The plant literally doesn't grow. You know, you'll look at all your new shoots and that, and they just sit there on pause. They don't get deficient or anything. They just, like I said, what I call stunted, shocked. You know, and you pretty much can't get away from that with a top. You know, that's why people like the low stress training, because they don't get that stunting effect. You can just bend the top over, and you know, generally the plant will take that, and it's, you know, and the growth instantly will respond. Yeah, you bend it over, you keep that top on there, your plant's still going to be growing up. You top it, you'll notice straight away. Yeah, oh, that's just stopped. Maybe 2 days, might be 7 days, but it will stop.
yeah, I can see that for sure. What was I going to say? Oh, that when you do these things, turning your light down doesn't hurt, like we were saying last time. That any kind of stressor on the plant, turn your light down a little bit, whether it's nutrient issue or whatever. But also, when you're training your plant, giving it a couple days with a little bit less light. You know, if your light's at 100%, turn it to maybe 80 or whatever, 60 or you know.
Or lift it up a couple of inches, 4 inches.
All right, I have a question for you guys. Have you seen the ponytail training technique? Eisenhower, you know what I'm talking about?
No,
I have no idea.
That's one of my jokes. That's one of my jokes. Underneath every ponytail is an arsehole.
Oh, I got you. No, it's a so I saw some people doing it. I have no idea if this is a good idea or not. So everybody that's listening, do not do this unless you have excess stuff to play with, you know.
I
If
just
you're,
grab the whole plant and
yep,
just drop
basically,
it.
yep. No, no,
Yeah.
no. They were putting a band around, like a rubber band around the whole plant so that it was held up in like a ponytail position with all the leaves bunched up together. And I'm not exactly sure what it was supposed to do, but apparently when they took the ponytail off, the plant was like really happy with it. So they kept doing it, and it eventually like made the plant grow stronger. I don't know. It's just like another way of stressing it, or training it, or like putting instead of putting like a fan on it to help it build that strength. I don't know, but it was just something I
Maybe,
saw. I figured I'd
if you
mention it.
maybe if you're pulling it up into that ponytail position, whilst those branches have now been pulled upwards, yeah, you're getting that maybe it grows in, and it's more when you cut the top off, they don't fall right back out. They just go a little bit.
Yeah,
Do you get
I could see
what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah, but see, they were putting it on there and then like for like an hour or two and then taking it off every day. So I don't know exactly how useful it was, but I just figured I would mention it because it was something interesting.
Yes, I find all these things that we can do to sort of like uh, simulate stress.
Mm,
Like when I sprayed these down yesterday, I grabbed my fan and I took it up, put my fan in my hand, put it on full power, and then I'm just bending all the plants over whilst they're wet, like
mm,
as if a windy storm had come through, soaked them all down and give them a bit of fucking knocking about. That's what I'm doing. I'm simulating that with my own fan, you know.
mm.
And all this stuff will make your plants hella stronger, you know. It's anything you pretty much do to manipulate them and stuff. They're going to just like we do when we break our bones or whatever. When it repairs, generally it gets it a little bit stronger, or you know. It's
Well,
like
that's what exercising is you're making
yeah,
micro
yeah,
tears in your muscles and they're growing back stronger. So that's why you gain muscle when you lift weights, you know.
yeah. That's why if you don't have a fan circulating, your plants are moving, they're going to be weak.
Yeah, yeah,
You
you
know, you
gotta
can
have them
actually
exercise your plants, man.
you can actually see the muscles on your branches if you've had a good fan on them. If you look where the branch joins the meristem, you'll have a circle like
Mhm,
an inner tube, almost a donut where the branch meets the meristem, and that's through that movement of the wind that's caused that donut or knuckle on each of the. That is, I love it when I can see that happening, because yeah, them branches are just going to be producing. They've got everything just looks right when you've got that big like knuckle on the base of all your branches. I just think that looks cool as fuck, and it makes the plants look strong and like they've got muscles.
yeah.
Definitely
Um,
supports the cola for
yeah.
sure.
So speaking of the knuckles and that area of the plant, one more thing that I was thinking of was I heard a somebody say, and again, this isn't something that I'm like sure about, so I want everybody to like take it with a grain of salt. Um, that each of the main fan leaves below each node is the main source of energy for that node. So if you want to slow a branch down, you can cut off the leaf that's directly below it at the node, and it'll slow that down. Because it has to start pulling energy from the leaves on the branch itself. I don't know if that's true or not. Does anybody on the panel have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's how Smiley Gardens Tots is. He takes off one fan leaf from the top, and instead of topping, it just slows it down. And yeah, that's the way he goes about it. Like you said, I don't know if you can see here. Let me flip that around, just as an example. You got your growing tip. So you'll take this one off, and you just took that one off. Now this growing tip is going to slow right down, and the rest will generally just, you know, I took this one, I took this fan off here. So it's the other one that's left, but I took this other one off here on that side. Now that will slow this top down, and these ones will catch up a little bit. Maybe I should have took it off this top one there, like so.
Somebody's puppy, huh?
Somebody's feisty.
Yeah.
So yeah, so basically I'm just pulling that one off there. That's the way that, yeah. That's the way Smiley does it. He should I say that's the first
You
time
guys
I've
can
actually,
mute me if you need me to. Be muted.
Okay. I will keep that in mind. Thanks, Sky. Is that you with the
Dominic,
dog
you
over
shoulda
there?
Yeah, the
Should've done
dogs,
that
they
top.
bark at nothing.
Oh, you're good, bro.
Oh, he was telling Nathan I should have done that top branch first. That's all.
That's right. He's like, what are you doing, man? That's cool. Yeah, so Smiley does that. Okay, that explains where I heard that. Cool. Yeah, so we got a lot of good information, but we're down to the last 9 minutes. So has anybody got any of their own special unique tips or tricks that we haven't covered for training plants that you want to share last couple minutes?
no,
No. Spread your plants
apart
out,
from,
bend them over, all that.
yeah, try if you want to, you know, the thing is that try and keep your plants as an even temperature between day and night. You're going to get a thicker stem. That's been proven. I think if you the lesser swing you have between days and nights, you get a more of a robust stem, thicker growth. Maybe the whole plant grows a little bit better with a little bit less swing. That's a bit hard one for me to do, is keep that variable between night and day. Yeah, but apart from that, I mean, a bit of cold when you're finishing. You know, let the temperatures get down at night time. Don't worry about, you know, I like to get them down to about 17 degrees at night to bring out the colours. But yeah, it's about, I can't really sort of think of anything off the top of my head. And just, if you think your plants are growing too tall and there's not enough branches on them, just fucking super crop them over like I did. You know, give yourself another 2 weeks and you'll have a full, you'll have a nice canopy. Yeah. You got to take each grow as it comes, because everything's going to be different every time. I mean, just going to have to adjust to the situation you're in. You can't, you know, people grow by numbers and they're like, I do this every time, but not every plant's the same, in my opinion.
I would say don't overtrain. You can definitely overtrain. Well, if you're indoors, I guess.
When I was first starting growing, I would tie every little bit of growth down as it came out, and definitely overdid it some. But yeah, that I feel like we've gone over quite a bit of different styles of doing it. And you know, if you're trying to bend your plant over, there are also products that you can get, like bud trainers and things like that, or clips or whatever, you know, that will help with that. And like we mentioned earlier, the yo-yos and scrog nets and things like that, there's products out there that are made for training your plants. So definitely something to look into as well. Also doing it yourself, there's guides out there on how to make your own scrog net and things like that. If you can if you have the ability, doing it yourself is always going to be a better option than buying from a company, because you're more in tune with your grow space, I think. But that's just my opinion. I'm a big DIY person.
Yeah, and I've always found like super cropping, like using those clips, like they work good. And I think they're better for like beginners too. But I always feel like they turn straight up, like after once it starts. Yeah, like
You
I
just
get
get a
more.
little S on your plant.
Yeah,
They're good to
Yeah, I think
spread
you're
your
better.
branches out off the main stem. That's just the clips. Yeah,
Right.
they can just add a little bit outwards, should I say, and give you you know, so they're not growing up close to your main stem. You can give them like an inch away from your main stem, and then they'll come up again. But yeah, that's where the clips are good. Don't know if you can see on it. That clone or that top I just took off and shoved in the dirt
Yeah,
and said, "Oh, that might go. It might. It looks like it's rooted and has survived."
that's awesome, man.
And that's not with anything. That's just cutting it straight or pulling it straight off a low and just sticking it straight into the soil.
So, yeah, it doesn't have to be super complicated sometimes. But
Yeah.
we are down to our last 5 minutes and we got 5 people here. So why don't we go around and do our final thoughts and shout outs? Ice, would you like to go first and tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, cheers everyone. You just find me in the chat, hanging around on the internet, on Instagram. If you're so interested, and check out my YouTube channel for some interesting stuff. Yeah, stay safe, keep warm, keep growing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Artman, would you like to go next, please?
Two
Oh.
ends, 11/4/20 at Instagram. You come over and see me and hang out with Coco for cameras. Thanks for having me. And we'll
Thanks
talk
for
to you guys
coming.
later.
Awesome. Thank you, Artman. Sky Overhead, you're up, buddy.
Basetown 11 at Instagram and skyoverhead.com if you want some homemade soaps. Seeds that I've been working with since around 2005. Shoot me an email. You can even contribute to the music making or contribute to the food forest that I'm creating. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thanks, chat, for hanging out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for showing us your food garden there, and I can't wait to see what the summer brings for it and all these plants that you got out there. Jace, you are up, buddy.
Yeah, good episode. Plant training, that's my favorite. But you guys can find me on Instagram, OKJace20. Thanks, Chat, for coming, showing your support. Always fun hanging out with you. Cheers to the panel here. Thanks again to the host seed person, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. And yeah, you are on it with the training for sure. I realized we did it backwards today. We should have talked about all the different training styles and then gone through the garden. So I'll keep that in mind for the next time we do something like this. But yeah, I appreciate all y'all that came on the panel, and shout out to Donkey Populous came on. Hope to see them again. And yeah, I'm glad to see everybody twice a week. It's good to have a place to come and hang out and talk cannabis with people that are passionate like I am. And I'm really dying to get some plants going again. I got about 2 months before we're gonna be resettled and I can pop seeds. So I'm counting the days at this point. Yeah, as far as everything else goes, there is the cheap home grow this evening at 7. That's going to be growing with my fellow growers. Jack Greenstock and the panel over there are all good people, so I'd encourage y'all to go get some more growing tips over at the cheap home grow channel tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we will be doing another live here on Spittin' Seeds on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I hope to see everybody that is on the panel and everybody in chat either or both of those shows as well. And yeah, I'm seedperson1 on Instagram or seedperson1@gmail.com. And I hope to see you all around the community. Grow a love and have a great week. Go into it with positive attitude, and hopefully you will see that reflected in the world around you. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace out.